One morning at school, 8-year-old Taidy stood clutching coins tightly in her hand. She wasn't thinking about what she wanted, but rather what was more worthwhile. Her heart began to process in numbers before moving on to feelings. How many items can you get? How many times will you lose? Who gets what? Who doesn't? Taidy. Money is limited, so I have to choose wisely. At the front of the candy store line, several children were standing close together. Taidy stepped forward, unhurried, without hesitation. She picked up the last piece of candy, as if it were a well-thought-out decision. For her, speed was always reason enough. Mew. I was in line first. Taidy. But I paid sooner. Uncle Pan. The snacks are all gone. Mew. It's okay. Mew smiled faintly even though she didn't get any snacks. Taidy didn't turn around because she didn't think she had done anything wrong. Society often tells children, whoever is faster wins. But they never tell them that. Winning often might cause someone to gradually disappear from our lives. The fan spun slowly, competing with the never-ending ticking of the clock. Teacher Orn, this question is difficult. Whoever answers correctly will get extra points. The moment the teacher finished speaking, Taidy's hand rose first, as if she didn't want anyone to have time to think. In this classroom, opportunity is for those who seize it first. Taidy, the answer is… Teacher Orn, very good. Corn, muttering, and what about those who aren't good? Taidy's answer was correct, perfect, flawless. The teacher's smile was the reward, but at the same time, many of the children lowered their heads, as if the word good wasn't meant for them at all. In this classroom, mistakes have no place. Those who know the answers don't need to look back to see who's drowning, because the system teaches us to believe that just being able to breathe on our own is enough of an accomplishment. The lunch table was filled with laughter, but in one corner, Taidy sat alone. Snacks were neatly arranged like precious possessions to be guarded. In her small world, what she had was more important than the people who came near. Mew asked softly, not because she was afraid of the answer, but because she was used to waiting. Mew, can we sit with you? Taidy, if you sit, we'll have to be more careful. It's not worth it. Taidy didn't yell, she didn't chase them away, she just used reasons that sounded polite, and safe enough not to make herself feel guilty. Refusal with a reason allows the speaker to avoid feeling guilty and prevents the listener from getting angry. That dinner table, therefore, became a silent lesson that the adult world isn't always cruel, but often chooses not to be kind for seemingly reasonable reasons. The stadium that day was filled with color and cheers. Every kid was running, as if the world was just a finish line ahead. Until Taidy fell. The cheering stopped, as if someone had pressed a button to silence the entire stadium. Blood seeped from her knee. It hurt more than Taidy had imagined. She cried for help, but many of the children just watched, not because they couldn't see, but because they were weighing their options between following the rules and the feelings of the person in front of them. Taidy, help! Mew, if we go in, we'll get scolded for not lining up. Corn, last time we got hurt, you just walked right past us. The words weren't loud, but they were powerful enough to silence Taidy. Human memory is unfair. It remembers every time it's neglected, even if the perpetrator has forgotten. On that day, Taidy began to understand that pain doesn't always bring kindness, especially if we haven't given it before.
A light rain fell after school. The pastry shop was quieter than usual. Taidy stood there, not to buy candy, but to find answers. Answers to why her pain didn't bring anyone back. I didn't bully anyone. Why doesn't anyone help me? Uncle Pan didn't rush to answer. unlike many adults who choose to comfort instead of telling the truth. His words weren't loud, not forceful, but direct enough to make a child begin to question themselves. Because you never stopped to see who needed you. And who helped me first? Uncle Pan, kindness is not a debt that anyone has to pay us. That sentence didn't make Taidy cry, but it silenced her. Some adults don't comfort, don't take sides, but they don't lie either. And in that silence, Taidy began to understand that the world never promises to be kind to anyone unless we first start being kind to the world.
After school, the hallway was quieter than usual. Taidy stopped in front of the conference room. She wasn't intending to listen, but certain words floated out on their own, as if the world was talking about her without knowing she was there. Teacher Orn, "We commend Taidy because she never caused the system any trouble. She didn't ask, she didn't beg, she just got what she wanted." Parent, "That's the modern kid." The praise was spoken with a satisfied tone, as if it were something to be proud of. Taidy didn't smile, because this was the first time she had heard herself being described as the work of the system, not as a child. No one asked the child if she wanted to be like that. In that moment, Taidy understood for the first time that she wasn't smart on her own, but was molded this way, to be quick, to be good, to not bother anyone, even if it meant being left with no one. The playground was unusually quiet. Only the sound of the wind rustling could be heard. Mew spoke casually, but Taidy heard clearly. She looked at the candy in her hand. The same old thing. That used to make her feel safe. Mew, "We really did forget the money. It's okay." Taidy, "Take half." Mew, "Are you sure?" Tidy's hand trembled slightly, not because of the wind, but because she was doing something that she had never done before. No one was forcing her, no one was watching, and there were no points ahead. Taidy, "I'm not sure. The first act of giving, it wasn't warm, it wasn't beautiful, and it didn't feel right. It didn't make Taidy feel victorious, it didn't get applause, but it was real. And perhaps, the truth, was the hardest starting point of being human." A new day begins like every other day. The sound of children talking, the sound of hurried footsteps, but the feeling is different. Some people look at Taidy and nod. Some still avoid eye contact. The world hasn't reset just because one person started to realize something. No lengthy apologies, no grand promises, because some things can't be proven in words. They take time and repeated action. The world doesn't need apologies, it needs consistency. Corn, "We'll see." Taidy, "That's good." If you act selfishly, don't expect kindness from friends, because the world isn't cruel, it just remembers and gives back only as much as you gave. Taidy's story isn't over yet, because tomorrow she might choose wrongly again, or she might choose differently, one more time. A philosophical conclusion. Kindness isn't a free handout, but it often flows back to those who gave it to it first.